We'll come back together upstairs at 4. Give everyone time for a restroom break. And
Do you want a little update on the committee?
Yes.
sure. Yeah, that would be great. Update on the.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna ask, so.
We've met twice. The committee, there's 28 members of the committee. Not all have been there, at both meetings. Good representation from the tribal community, alumni, staff, current students, future students. Really good conversations. And I've been really impressed, even the ones that have, a very strong affinity to our legacy, the Redmond heritage and everything, have been able to kind of take a step back and evaluate why this is an issue and why it's causing our current students and future students issues. A couple of the students on the committee related personal stories of, we know about the ones from in the past with the drill team and the cheerleaders that were threatened over social media and things like that. But one of the students yesterday mentioned how he had been standing in front of some Native American artwork and posted it and was accused of being racist and different things that have come up like that. And a sophomore student related how a lot of the students have felt like there really hasn't been a mascot because we don't use artwork that includes a character. We don't have a physical mascot, a student be a mascot anymore for obvious reasons. And so they've felt like there really hasn't been a mascot to look at for a number of years. So it's been really an interesting conversation. So we had those. Go ahead.
Can I just add one thing to it? So maybe you were going to go there, but it was interesting because they had, our first meeting, we had 3 people from the tribe that were there, the tribal chairperson and their mother, and then Xavier Garcia. And, at the very beginning, when we were introducing ourselves, she introduced herself and said, really, we're just here to uphold what the board determines on this. So, we'll do whatever you want to do with this. And so I thought, okay, that was probably the political thing to say at that point. But at the end, you could see how passionate they are about the change because we had an individual that was there at the meeting as well that was passionate about not changing it, and they kind of got into a little bit of a banter. And so her making the comment that, we'll just do whatever the board, there's more to it than that with them when it comes to them too. It means there's something there. They're wanting it to be changed as well, but they didn't come out until that point, at least I thought.
And that's very right. There's a very strong concern with our Native American community that they do not want to be identified as the source for having to change the mascot. There is a real fear among many of our community members that they will be targeted and outcast even more than many have been. So that's something that as a board, if you opt to make that change, in January, whenever you look at doing it, then that needs to be clearly articulated. They have been very supportive in the process. They have very strong feelings. And there's many of our Native American community members that don't want to change it. We have families that are split, that are having dinner conversation at Thanksgiving about it. I think it is derogatory. I don't think it's derogatory. But we need to be very sensitive to that group of community members that they're not identified as a reason for change. And I've been trying to emphasize that during all of the interviews that we've had with media. That they're supportive of it, but it's not being that they're not the source of the concerns.
That came out really loud and clear when we had our first meeting almost 2 years ago, 18 months ago, with John there at the high school. They do not.
Well, I guess I was here, but they don't want any repercussions.
Right. It's a valid concern.
Absolutely, it is.
And
Absolutely, it is.
I've had many that have talked to me on the side. I've had people that have emailed that are fearful of being even stating that they want it changed because of repercussions. I had two members of the committee drop out because of concerns of backlash. One's a business owner that didn't want retaliation on his business for saying, I think it needs to change. And another was an ecclesiastical reason. But it is a very potentially polarizing conversation. So the more we can focus on what our current students are facing in the 21st century and what the future students will face in the 22nd century, that I think is what needs to happen. You know, whatever that decision is, I'm fine with. I think the school is fine with, but the concern has to keep coming back to what our students are dealing with in the social media world.
So, any idea what we can expect at the public hearing next week? You said there would be a short presentation. What will that look like?
Mainly just going through some of the key points that the committee's identified as reasons that we're having this discussion in the first place, and the reasons that some people think it needs to change, and the reasons that some people love it, the history of it, and why there's a current concern. I don't know that I want to get into too many of the specific details with students and issues that have come up. If they want to bring those up, they're invited to come, and they'll be able to. But we'll go through that for 15, 20 minutes or so, and then just open it up to 3-minute public comments, and
Remind me the time.
7 o'clock, December 4th and December 18th.
Now, I'm probably not going to be able to go to the one, this next one, but the one on the 17th, because I'm going to be out of town. But is the board going to be up in the board chairs, or are we part of the audience? Okay.
No, and it'll be at Cedar High, so
Oh, okay.
I'm going to put Kevin and John up on the stage with me, just so that
Because I
there's,
didn't want to have a hole there with my name.
3 targets. Nope.
Okay.
No,
We'll
the
be
board
sure to
is
say,
invited
"Marianne,
to come and
was
just
not
listen.
Your time.
December 4th at 7 p.m.
18th,
December 4th and 18th,
and the 18th.
the 2 Tuesdays.
7, right?
7 p.m. Cedar High Auditorium. You're welcome to come. It's up to you if you want to speak as a community member or as a.
So the 18th is our next board meeting.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And
It's
Yeah,
after
it
that.
is. It's on the day
so
of the
we
board
have the
meeting.
dinner after.
So is that one also at Cedar High? So we,
Yeah.
Yes.
so we
We go from here.
have to wrap it up in time to get over there.